Hey there. We're going to start with our canned apples. Through this method of preservation, the apples themselves are cooked by the boiling syrup as opposed to boiling on the stove. We're going to be making 10% light syrup today, which is made by combining 1 cup of sugar with 8 cups of water. So we'll just add our sugar to our 8 cups of boiling water right now. There's a half cup. Oh shit. And here's the second half cup. And now we will just get that stirred in. Alright. So we're going to be using a roaster today in place of a water bath canning kettle, which we don't have access to. The basic principle of a water bath canning kettle is that all of the jars would be submerged underwater, and that would also complete the cooking process, as well as it would help with the sealing of the jars. So we're going to replicate that with a roaster today, and the key with replicating a water bath canning kettle is that you have to keep the jars off the bottom of your pot or your heat source. So we're going to rectify that problem by using a rack on the bottom of our roaster. That's going to keep our jars from the bottom, which will help them from overcooking. So our syrup is boiling pretty good here. So I'm just going to grab our jars from inside the oven with my trusty oven mitts. And my jars are on the right side. Okay. So we had turned our oven down to 100 degrees to continue with the sterilization. So our jars are nice and hot right now, so be careful not to burn yourself. We have our quartered apples, and we're just going to pop those in there. So we're just going to put 5 in each jar. Oh, perfect. We have 1 extra each, so we'll just throw 1 more in each of them. So at this point you gotta be pretty quick so that you can keep everything nice and hot. So I'm gonna stir up my sugar, water syrup, my 10% syrup. Can you put the camera up a bit? And now I'm going to put my syrup water into my jars. Need to leave about 1/4 inch at the top. Everything's really hot, so you gotta be really careful, and I'm making a huge mess here. You can already see the hot syrup is bubbling with the apples. Cooking is beginning. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, and I have a cloth right over there. Just going to use a towel and wipe off the rims of my jars. Hold it like that so you can see the jars. Just going to wipe the rims off. it's very important that the rims of the jars are really clean so that you get a clean seal, because they won't pop and they won't seal or preserve if the rims are dirty and it doesn't create a seal. So we're going to take our lids and pop them on. There we go. And last lid. We're going to dry everything off again. And make sure it's all nice and tight. Last one. Okay, now we're going to put our jars into our makeshift water bath canning kettle. So it's nice and hot in there. We got one jar. That one's really hot. We got 2 jars. We got 3. And we'll try that one again. I'll put that one in after. Alright, so now they're in our water bath canning kettle, and they'll stay in there for about 20 minutes. Oh, that's beautiful.
Are we back?
Yep.
Okay, so I found a better alternative, and so it has its own little handle. Very good to get in there and on the warm parts and just get it in there, and it looks like we've done very well on our amounts. And again, it was 3 pints or 6 cups of sliced apples, and I did do the apples the same as what we did with the syrup, which was the light syrup. So this is the light also for the apple pie filling. So we only used 1 1/4 cup of sugar on all of this, on these 2 jars, which seems to have worked well for these apples that we've used. Now this one is a bit full, as you can probably tell. So all you do there, because I was talking, got carried away, we just take a few out. Because what we're going to do, anytime you're canning, what you want to do is you want to clean the lip. You don't want to leave too much room on the top, although it will settle in quite nicely there. But you don't want to leave too much room, and that looks like it could use a little bit more of the sauce. So let's try and get that with some more sauce. There, that looks better. So, handy little Canucks towel here. I kind of do a little bit on the out and on the in, especially on the top is what people usually forget, is on the top. And of course it can be very sticky because there is sugar in here, so just want to make sure that we get all the sticky off. Oh, it smells and looks delicious. We hope that this one is going to be one that will do the sealing. Again, remember, if it doesn't seal, you can always use it up within 2 weeks and put it in pie, or this is actually very good for anything. You can do anything with it. Now the next step, we've got some already in the water kettle. So what we're going to do is wait until that one is done, and then we're going to put these 2 jars into our water kettle. We're going to cook it for 20 minutes, and then they'll be all done and ready to go into our pies.
Hey again. So it's been about 20 minutes since our canned apples went into our water bath. So we're just going to take those out now. And we're just going to put them down on the stove for a moment. So the water bath as well as the hot syrup are the 2 ways that our apples were cooked in this method. You gotta be really careful not to drop your apples. And one more. There we go. And now we have canned apples.
Yes, and I can still see the bubbles happening on there. So even though they've come out of the water, they are still cooking, and they will for a little bit there. So I have my apple pie filling here, and it's still nice and warm. I'm going to lift it up now and put it into the apple. No, put it into the water. And again, it should really be in a container that has complete water fill, but we're improvising here, so we're going to put it, I've got a rack, a cooling rack actually is what I've used for the bottom underneath here. It's just for a cookie cooling rack, and I've put it on the bottom here so that the jars are not directly onto the burner. So we're going to put the lid on, and they are going to stay in there. It won't be a complete fit, but they will stay in there for 20 minutes. Thank you.